Hey guys, Jarek here, and welcome to another video of the best Trials Evolution map. It's been a while since I made one of these, but since the new DLC came out about a week or so ago, the Riders of Doom DLC, and it is Christmas time, Merry Christmas by the way, I figured I'd go ahead and put one of these out. It's been a while since I have, and I always like getting excuses to come back to Trials Evolution because, well, you don't really have an excuse to leave with the custom map editor, but the first thing I'm going to show you is one of the maps that they added into the regular single player of the DLC, which is a pretty cool map, so I just wanted to add it in. There was actually a second single-player map from the DLC that I wanted to upload as well, but it was on hard difficulty, and it wasn't impossibly difficult, but it was difficult enough to make me not want to go through the frustration of trying to get a perfect gold run and upload that. So I figured I'd do what I usually do and just go to the leaderboards and watch a replay and upload that, and that'll be a much better stand-in than me trying to get a gold for, 30 minutes and dealing with that frustration. But the problem is that the replay system doesn't really work in Trials Evolution sometimes, and this is a bug that they have never patched. It's been there since day one, and I kind of wish they'd patch it. So you go to the leaderboards, you go to watch a replay, and what happens in the replay is that it doesn't actually show the first place run. It shows them racing, and then they crash, and then their body's just flailing on the ground, and doesn't reset, it doesn't do anything. And I went through about 8 replays trying to get a good one, and they all did the same thing. They all crashed, and they all just laid there on the ground. Obviously, it was not the first through 8th place runs that I was seeing. So it's something I wish they would patch. I don't know why it does that, but they never patched it, so I just said, screw it, this is the only single player DLC map I'll upload, and it'll be good enough. And then I'll just start recording, maps from custom maps that part of the community made. That's mostly what people want to see anyway, multiplayer maps from the community. So, this will be good enough. But this map is, it's pretty cool from the DLC. It's, a sky city. And, I'm actually kind of impressed with the DLC. It seems like Red Lynx is improving on every map they make, and it seems that the community is having a big impact on the maps they are making. All the maps they are making seem to have a little bit more uniqueness to them. They seem to be pretty interesting, and they all seem to have much better final death scenes than they usually do. Like this one right here is probably the most tame of all of them, but I've seen some pretty amusing ones. Alright, so the next map. This map is called UC Art, and there's all the information if you want to go find it yourself. In the comment section it says no comment, let bumper music off, keep that in your head. And this map is a hard map. It's not, well, that's the actual difficulty they have listed, hard. It's not incredibly difficult, it's just difficult enough for me not to want to do it myself, so we went ahead and looked at one of the replays. Thankfully it worked, so it just made uploading this a little bit easier and allows me to have a little bit more fun while I'm playing Trials Evolution, instead of being mad, pulling my hair out, trying to get a perfect run. Anyway, this map, definitely interesting. As looks like you're in space, there's tons of stuff happening in the background, all these crazy movements, arrows all over the place. I think everything in this map is made with an arrow, unless I'm mistaken. So it's pretty interesting to say the least. Now, I said they give you the option to turn the music off. And the reason being is that the music is stereotypical dubstep made in Trials Evolution, so that's something you want to turn off immediately because that's incredibly obnoxious. But hey, I should probably stop complaining because I can turn it off. And hey, there was a first non-arrow, it was just a circle there. But for the most part, it's almost everything made with arrows, so pretty cool map. I definitely think it's worth pointing out. So the next map is called The Heist, and if you look at the information of this map, it says something pretty interesting. The brake and throttle cables were destroyed during the shootout inside the bank. So you have no brakes, and you're always going full throttle the whole time. You can never slow down, you can never speed up, you're always going the same pace. However, you can actually be too slow and crash, and how? Well, you go off a jump wrong, you land wrong, and you can get hit by a cop car. Stuff like that. It is possible to crash. But this is definitely one of the easier, cooler, gimmicky, very scripted maps. And, I'll be honest, I get into Trials Evolution to play maps like this, to play maps that are fun, gimmicky, really, really cool, they're easy to enjoy, compared to all the really obnoxious spam of ninja difficulty maps we're seeing released. Because, look at stuff like that. That's just really cool and really easily amusing to me. And definitely, that alone is worth putting this in here. If you can do this in a map editor, why wouldn't you do anything else? It's pretty sweet. But yeah, ninja difficulty maps, they need to have their own playlist to be split away from everything else, so I don't have to sift through 30 different ninja difficulty maps that are impossible to beat unless you manage to glitch the way this certain way or watch the replay a million times. I don't play Trials Evolution for that. I found that annoying, I find that stupid. I think I go through this rant every single time I make a Trials video. Please, Red Lynx, make their own playlist so I don't have to sift through that crap. I don't know why people like it. But yeah, this map, as I said, it's very scripted, but it's cool nonetheless, and it's still very fun. The game is, this map specifically is kind of playing for you, but kind of not. It's still cool nonetheless. The only thing that doesn't make much sense about it is that if you're making your escape by a giant fucking jet, there's going to there's going to be someone following you. You're going to be a pretty easy target to find. So the next map is made by someone with the most amusing username I've seen in Trials Evolution yet. Blood Booger, you got some issues there, but this map is called Spirit of Xmas. So this is the obligatory Christmas map you have to add in around Christmas time. It's a really cool map, really well done. As soon as I started playing it, I got to about over this first mountain here, and I went, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add this in just because it's got a cool, unique art style. The snow alone is really well done, pretty sweet. It looks like what he did is he just took some water and made it white. I'm pretty sure that's what he did. It seems to have the same, but it looks to have the same texture as snow and make noises like snow. But it's a really well done map. You know, people really have been getting into Christmas time. I didn't really do much for Christmas this year, to be completely honest. Christmas time for me, for a while, it became a lot of work. I ran a business for a little bit of a while, and if you know anything about business around Christmas time, it gets stressful and hectic, and you know, I hate it, but hey, I don't run a business anymore, so now Christmas time is basically time to relax and slow down, just kind of hang out with your family a little bit, and that's pretty much all I do, just hang out with family and friends around Christmas time, and other than that, I don't do much else, and that's the way I like it. I tend to try to not go anywhere around Christmas time, just because there are people everywhere, everything is really, really packed, and something really, really odd this year happened. Portland is not a violent city in any way whatsoever. Portland's a very, very clean city. I went to the Clackamas Town Center, and then the day after I went to the Clackamas Town Center, a shooting happened there, which is something that you never see in this area. So, I don't know, that was just kind of amusing. Not really amusing, I don't think that's the correct word to use. It was, interesting to see something like that happen where I go every single... Well, I'm not going to say I go there every day, but I've been going there my whole life, and that something like that has never happened there. And, I don't know, it happened there the day after I went, so I guess that's worth pointing out. Anyway, enough negative news, let's go ahead and focus on the map timeline, and this is actually not a new idea. I've seen this happen before in Trials Evolution, but it was executed fairly well on this map, so I figured, why not go ahead and give it a mention, it's totally worth it. And it's, you know, like I said, not really a new idea in Trials Evolution. You're traveling through time, going through different ages in history. You go from the prehistoric age to the ice age, and, you know, I'll just let you go ahead and see, all of which are done very well, by the way. And, I don't know, it's just a cool overall, well-done map. It's not too difficult, it's not too hard. It's almost a little too easy, but hey, I would rather have something be too easy than too hard when it comes to Trials Evolution. I like a challenge, but when it comes to Trials Evolution, people for some reason don't know how to pace that challenge correctly. Either the map is easy as hell, or it's a ninja difficulty map. And I would rather have an easy as hell map than a ninja difficulty map, because you already know my opinion about that shit. But yeah, now we're in Egypt, and now we're over here, so you switch fairly quickly. I can't remember how many different ages you go through. I think it's about 7 or so. But like I said, all of them are done fairly, well, accurately to what we know of anyway. I mean, let's face it, we don't know everything about every historical moment that has happened, or if, you know, all of our information is even correct. Say information about dinosaurs, which I heard something a little bit of a while ago, scientists coming out and saying dinosaurs may not have been able to make any noises. Some dinosaurs may not have had any voice boxes, you know, and we're still trying to figure stuff out about a creature that never lived at the same timeline as we did. So all you can really go off of is timelines of basically what scientists have told you. I mean, now we're getting into a time where obviously we have much better records of what actually happened. But I know it's always interesting to go back to that. It's a video game, it doesn't need to make sense, fuck it. That's all I really need to say. But yeah, whoever made this map, I don't remember who made it. Good job to you, done a fairly good map, teleporting all over the place. And yeah, not much more to it, just a pretty cool, well done map. Alright, so the next map we're looking at is actually a skill game, and it's called Hillbilly Handcar, and this one is very, very simple. I'm It's probably already been done in Trials Evolution before. I haven't seen it myself personally, but this is the first time I've seen it in Trials Evolution. Why not go ahead and point it out and say, hey, cool skill game, if you want something that's, for some odd reason, incredibly addictive, for I'm not entirely sure what reason there is. It's all trial and error, just see how far you can get. I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually end. I haven't checked that out. But the leaderboard, I did see someone go 2,866 feet, I think the guy in first place was, compared to what I ended up actually doing, which is nowhere even near that. But yeah, as you see, it's basically just a balancing game. It's just a quick mini game, skill game type thing. You can try it as many times as you want. There's no time limit. Just go as far as you can. It's pretty amusing. If you lean too far forward or lean too far back, you instantly fail. It's about halfway of the tire. If you lean halfway, you fall over. And that's basically all there is about it. It looks deceivingly simple. And it is deceivingly simple. It looks deceivingly easy. It's not as easy as it looks. And I actually ended up crashing here because I looked over at the sign and I didn't know how long this went. And I went, does it end there? I saw that sign. I looked over and then looked back and shit, I was falling over. But yeah, I managed to go 686 feet. That's pretty decent. Nothing absolutely amazing, but quick skill game and very amusing. Cannon Fodder Evo. Now this map is it's one of the more interesting maps in Trials Evolution. It's a top-down shooter. The controls are they're a little finicky because Trials Evolution isn't necessarily made for a game like this, but the controls basically is you have a reticle that you control with the left analog stick. You steer it around, the right trigger shoots. You press the left trigger and it moves to wherever the hell you have your aiming system. So basically you're playing a top-down shooter in Trials Evolution. And a few things came to my head immediately. Does anyone else actually remember the top-down shooting Killzone on the original PSP? I actually really liked that game, but not many people really seem to like it that much, and yeah, there's not much more to that. The other thing I think of is, where is Trials going to go? Like, what more can Trials do? I literally can't think of anything off of my head that they could add to the Trials franchise. They have done what you should do, what every single sequel should do. They have added everything possible into a game that they already had, and they didn't leave anything out so they can make a good sequel and make more money off the franchise. They legitimately made a good game. And by the way here, I couldn't aim furthermore to the right because for some reason there's a wall there that stops me. But yeah, I honestly can't think of anything more they can do with Trials. I mean, they have such an in-depth map editor that I would dare to say is better than the Halo Forge map editor, or at least Halo Reach Forge. Halo 4 Forge has a it's a little lacking, especially the way you share maps, which you really can't, so I'm just going to leave my opinion out of that. But it's a crazy in-depth map editor of what they've added into Trials Evolution. The controls work very, very well. For being what it is, the graphics are amazing. You have a huge open world. I mean, the maps aren't 2D. If you don't know this, the way the map editor works is you have a large sandbox, and you mark on the map point A, point B. And then it goes from 2D from that point A to point B. So you can be anywhere in this sandbox. And really the only things the DLC have been doing is adding in new items to make stuff out of in the map editor and adding in a new sandbox. So that's all they've really been adding. But, you know, what more can you add in? What more is there to do for Trials Evolution? I literally can't think of anything they would add into Trials, and I think they're doing exactly what you should do when it comes to making a sequel. You make a good sequel, think of everything possible, and then you make a new IP after that, because you did everything you could possibly do, and you made the best game you could possibly make given the hardware you have. And that's the way I wish every developer and every publisher would let people make games. So the next map we're going to look at is called UC BMX Park, and this is actually made by the same person that made the art map, the one with all the arrows, earlier in this video. Now, this is not actually a new idea to Trials Evolution. As soon as the Origin of Pain DLC came out, you started seeing a lot of these maps because the Gecko was included in that DLC. The Gecko is basically a BMX bike with pegs and all that. But hey, you know, I was into BMX for a while. I did more BMX dirt than I did BMX street, or BMX park, I should say. So, you know, it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but anything BMX is going to catch my attention. And it's just a really cool idea, really, really simple. This one is done and executed very, very well. The whole map is very smooth. You can actually do real BMX stunts here. You know, it's just a really good, well-done map. And as I said, I was into BMX for a good long time, although I've always been more of a off-road type of guy. I was involved in an amateur circuit for trophy trucks and dune buggies, as well as an amateur motocross circuit for a lot of my life growing up. That's always kind of where I've been Ooh, cool flip there. I'm gonna go ahead and not lie and say that was completely unintentional, although I could pretend to be cool and be like, oh yeah, I'm that good. I'm not. I'm a pretty average Trials Evolution player. But yeah, it was just a cool idea, executed very, very well, and I figured I'd go ahead and upload it and say, there you go. Alright, so I had to save this for the last map. This map is called Asteroid Sprint, and if you can't tell what it is by the thumbnail, then I am ashamed of you. You should always know what this game is. It's Asteroids. I played this game a ton growing up. Personally myself, I was a 90s kid. I was only born in 91. People think I'm older than I actually am. I'm only 21. You gotta realize that. However, I do have 3 older siblings, and growing up in the 90s, I was basically growing up with a lot of the 80s stuff and a lot of the 90s stuff. So, I played a lot of Asteroids. I don't know why, but I really loved Asteroids, and this is a fairly faithful recreation of it. You move just like Asteroids, you can boost, you shoot rocks. The aiming is a little bit odd, because it's based off Trials aiming. That means you can't just kind of look in that direction and shoot. You have to press left and right, and that's how you spin around. You can't just press up and be looking up, so it doesn't work that way. There's also a slight, you can only shoot, I think it's like 10 of those little BB things at a time before you run out, and it takes a second or so to recharge. Other than that, it's a fairly faithful recreation of Asteroids. You can even teleport, which I didn't do so in this video. I probably should have done so, because I ended up actually crashing at the end. But you know, it only lasted 2 minutes. I figured that's all I really need to show you this map. There's not much more to it. It's Asteroids. It's all the Asteroids you've come to know and love. And I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen this happen in Trials Evolution sooner. But yeah, I'm surprised that... this is what I'm talking about. Where's Trials Evolution going to go after this? You're making Asteroids in a game that's supposed to be a, well, 3D, 2D, basically Excitebike 2012. And I really do feel that there's nowhere else they're going to be able to go. I fail to see anywhere else that they can take Trials Evolution, because they've done everything they need to do. Honestly, what I see them doing is making a completely new IP, instead of making another Trials Evolution game, or Trials game, for a very long time, and that's where I ended up crashing. Could have teleported. I tried to shoot him before I hit him, but ended up hitting him. Anyway, that was the last map to show you, just Asteroids being made in Trials Evolution. You gotta love Asteroids. So hey, there's another Best Trials Evolution video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.